Where does the contemporary extremism came from? Almost 700 years ago, in one of the suburbs of Damascus, Syria, a man by the name of Ahmad ibn Abdul Halim, Ahmad ibn Abdul Halim, not Abdul Halim Hafiz. This is Ahmad ibn Abdul Halim ibn Taymiya. Al-Harrani al-Damashqi was born 700 years ago. He emerged. He was a very weird man. If you read about his life, he was not normal. He was a psychopath, something wrong with his brain. He emerged with some radical and extremist views. And let me familiarize yourself in 2 minutes with this man. This man is characterized by two important things. One of them, he hates Ahlul Bayt. He is a hate monger. He cannot tolerate Ahlul Bayt or the name of Ahlul Bayt. First of all, he comes to Prophet Muhammad. He says ziyarah, the visitation. When you visit the Prophet, this is innovation. And innovation is part of shirk and heresy. He does not recognize the ziyarah. He's against the ziyarah. He says, don't go and visit the Prophet is a man who's dead. He's gone. Why do you go and visit him? While when you come to Prophet himself, and this hadith is accepted by both traditions, the Sunni tradition and the Shia tradition. The Prophet says, Man hajja wa lam yazurni faqad jafani. If you travel to pilgrimage, and then from Mecca you do not go to Medina to pay tribute to the Prophet, as if you have done injustice to the Prophet. Faqad jafani. He estranged me. He neglected me. The one who comes to Hajj and does not come to my visitation, to my ziyarah. So in a gross violation to what the Prophet said. He said ziyarah is bid'ah, is unacceptable. This is one. The other thing he said, Ali and Muawiyah, maybe Muawiyah is better than Ali ibn Abi Talib. If you read his book, Minhaj al-Sunnah, he has a very famous book. This famous book is well respected among the Wahhabis. Anywhere you go, there are radicals and Wahhabis. After the Quran, they have these 4 volumes called Minhaj al-Sunnah. I urge you to read it. It has been translated to English. In his book, he says Ali was dead wrong. Ali violated some of the rules of Islam. This is exactly the words of Ibn Taymiya in his book Minhaj al-Sunnah. He attacks Ali ibn Abi Talib. He attacks Fatima al-Zahra. In one of the sentences in his work, he says, Fatima was not beautiful. And I'm ashamed of saying this on the podium on these nights. But I want you to know a little bit about the identity and the mentality of this man. He says Fatima was not beautiful. Nobody came to propose to her. So her father was forced to give her in marriage to her cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib. Contrary to all historians, they say Fatima, almost all the companions came. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, great companions. They came and they said, Ya Rasulullah, we want your daughter Fatima. There will be no day that passes by without someone, 1 or 2 or 3 people come to the Prophet and say, Ya Rasulullah, I want to marry your daughter Fatima. But look at jealousy. Look at mental sickness in the mind of this man. He says Imam Hussein was wrong to go to Iraq. He should have listened to Yazid ibn Muawiyah. He should have submitted to Yazid ibn Muawiyah. This is Ahmad ibn Abdul Halim ibn Taymiya, the leader and the mastermind of Wahhabism worldwide, 700 years ago. Now, and he has a thesis, by the way. The name of his thesis in Arabic, he wrote a book. The name of his book, وُجُوبُ قِتَالِ الرَّافِضَةِ, the necessity of killing and exterminating the Rafidah. Who are the Rafidah? Rafidah means the rejectors, people who rejected the Khilafah of Abu Bakr and Umar. So it is necessary to fight them. It is necessary to exterminate them. This is his thesis. He instigated and promoted violence. Can you see the screen? Is it clear? Huh? Okay, I read it for you, don't worry. You can close your eyes. So he instigated and promoted violence, and which opposed conventional and mainstream scholars of Islam. As a result of that, as a result of his sick attitude, He was repelled and rejected by most Muslims and scholars and philosophers during his time. Some of the scholars who rejected him and refuted him was the Grand Mufti of Egypt at that time, who considered Ibn Taymiyyah to be heretic. As a result of that, he was captured, he was put in the prison, he was jailed, and he died in his jail.